Hi everyone, this is Becky from Becky's Baskets, back with another tip for helping you make great pine needle baskets. Today I'm going to show you how to use the wrap stitch in your coiling. If you have my advanced beginner, pendant, or either of my barrette kits, this tutorial will apply to all of them. There are many ways to use wrap stitch to add a decorative element to your baskets or other pine needle coiling piece. In this particular one, you can see I have wrapped entire rows to separate different types of stitching. This piece, I've wrapped just the handles. My next video will address how to manage handles. In this barrette, the openings where the stick goes are wrapped. And with this pendant, I've wrapped the area where the cord attaches. Wrapping takes a lot of thread, so make sure you had that supply ready before you start. So here's a piece I've been working on, and I'm ready to start adding some wrap. I've been using my normal basic stitch. Now I want to start wrapping. So I take a stitch normally, and then I simply start wrapping the thread over, behind, and under the coil. Over, behind, and under the coil. The wraps need to lay next to each other, not overlap. This is important to make sure that it looks smooth and neat when you finish the wrap. Once I've wrapped 3 or 4 or 5 stitches, I squish them together to make sure first that they're not overlapping anywhere, and also that the pine needles are not showing through. And I just continue that wrapping over the top, around the back, underneath, until I get to the point where I would next join a stitch. Then I go ahead and take a normal stitch from back to front, pull it tight, and start wrapping again. It's important to stop, take breaks, and add pine needles while you're wrapping so that your coil doesn't start to diminish. It's also really important to check and make sure that your wraps are not overlapping, but just laying neatly side by side, and that they're squished tightly together so that when you take a stitch, the pine needles don't show through. Now you can continue wrapping as long as you want. You can wrap whole rows, just section of rows, an area here and there. Some people like to do a stitch where they alternate wrapping and regular stitching, so you get sort of a checkerboard effect. You can continue as long as you want, but because wrapping does take a lot of thread, there's a good chance you're going to run out of thread while you're on a wrapped row. If you are running out at a normal stitch, that's the best place to change it, just the same way you normally would. But sometimes you're in a situation where you must change the thread right in the middle of a wrap. In that case, you can do it like this. Once your thread is short, take it off the needle, then part your coil and bring that thread up through the bottom so that the tail is pointing out the top of your coil. Pull that in there tightly, and then take your new piece of thread and send the tail of that up through that same spot so that you have 2 threads, tails laying right next to each other. On the underside where they come together, you need to use your needle or some other pointy object like the point of your scissors and squish those 2 joins together so that they're not visible. And then continue wrapping right over top of those tails. Over the top, around the back, and underneath. Always wrap in the same direction. And then when you get to your next stitch, You can take that stitch normally and you will start to build your wrapped row. I hope this short video makes it easy to use the wrap stitch in your next pine needle basket or other coiling piece. It adds color and style. Please like and subscribe below so that you won't miss my next tip for creating beautiful pine needle baskets. If you're a beginner and need help getting started with coiling, check out my Etsy shop and all of my beginner kits, which come with detailed color instructions and all the supplies you need to get started. Links to my website and Etsy shop are in the description below. Thanks for watching and happy coiling!